This is Wild Chronicles. I'm Boyd Matson. This is one of the places where the elephant population has actually increased in recent years. The herds are benefiting from Botswana's decision to set aside more than 35% of their country as either national parks, game reserves, or wildlife management areas. But the elephants are also doing well because of their own ability to attract tourists and their dollars. Elephant-backed safaris are something travelers are more likely to encounter in Asia than Africa. Botswana's Abu Camp is one of the few exceptions to that rule. Here people have the kind of unique access they could never have with a wild elephant. It gives you a new appreciation for these powerful animals when you're moving alongside them in a small, unstable dugout canoe, or walking beside them in the bush. It can be a transformational encounter in the view of National Geographic Explorer in Residence, Beverly Joubert.
In one way, I think it's very special for anybody to be able to have those moments. It really is almost a spiritual time to be that close to an animal and to be accepted by an animal.
However, it doesn't require an Abu Camp type of encounter to become an advocate for elephants. Just watching them go about their normal routine in the wild will do the trick.
These elephants kicking around.
The emotional connection between people and wildlife has generated a major conservation commitment in Botswana. But the establishment of protected areas for elephants has also raised an unexpected problem. These massive creatures can bulldoze a forest, turning it into a grassland trying to satisfy their insatiable appetites. Elephants have been blamed for driving the rhinos off their range in the competition for food. In parts of Botswana, they are venturing onto farmland, destroying crops and reigniting the kind of conflict with humans that elephants never win. One proposed solution is culling, a polite way of saying killing a few to save the many.
I think that there are far better ways to manage animals than to oil up the guns and bring them out and start shooting them. We have a lot of elephants, but I think that's the ideal situation. I don't think there are too many elephants there. We have to be more inventive now, and we are more inventive.
Derek is a proponent of wildlife corridors that offer elephants safe passage between parks. If herds are allowed to roam freely, he believes it could help solve the problem of fenced-in parks becoming, in effect, overpopulated islands. The survival of elephants ultimately depends on people falling in love with them, being willing to spend considerable amounts of money to see them and take their picture. And for that to happen, all it takes is one magical afternoon like this. For almost an hour, I watched enthralled while 4 young males and 2 older females splashed around like kids in a backyard swimming pool.
You know, elephants have all of the characteristics that we really admire. So they have that playfulness within them. They have a sense of mischief. You know, if you see elephants down at the waterhole flying around, you know, swimming around and splashing, that's just what they're doing. They're having fun.
Some of this behavior is typical role-playing for young males, according to National Geographic grantee Caitlin O'Connell-Rodwell.
You'll see a lot of young bulls kind of testing and experimenting with other young bulls. They'll do what's called a pre-mount, where they'll take their trunk coming from the back of the other bull, lie it on the top of their back. So that would be called a pre-mount, and sometimes even put their front legs, stand up and mount the other young bull. But it's all in play, and the other one will sort of run off, and then they might do it again. And they will just lie in the water and let their trunk be as floppy as it possibly can be, and just sort of flop it around and flop their whole bodies and their head, and they'll spar.
But then, a couple of the elephants did something that neither Caitlin nor I had ever seen before. They sat upright and began slapping the water with their front legs and splashing themselves. The eternal dilemma, finding a way for humans and animals to coexist. Maybe one answer is to throw a few more pool parties like this one. Who wouldn't want to be neighbors with these guys?
Sponsored by the My Wonderful World campaign. Join us today and help give kids the power of global knowledge.
Sponsored by National Geographic Mission Programs, taking science and exploration into the new millennium.
Sign up now at mywonderfulworld.org and receive our free newsletter and resources. Join more than 80,000 people and lend your voice to call for better geography education, because kids who understand our world today can succeed in it tomorrow.